online?
Story starts with Simon, who lives happily with his girlfriend Fabian. Simon wants to be an artist, and Fabian runs an art gallery. One day, they go to Simon's dad's 60th birthday party together. Simon feels a bit nervous. At the party, he sees his dad Carl praying with his friends. His mom Agnes is also there. During the prayers, Simon notices Carl's mistress Sonia. Afterward, while everyone is eating, some guests ask Simon why he quit medical school. Carl, who is a famous writer and psychologist, supports Simon's decision to pursue art. Fabian adds that Simon has been nominated for an award, which makes Simon's parents proud. Later, Simon talks with his mom, who suggests he help transcribe Carl's lectures for a new book, offering good pay. Simon declines, saying he's busy with his art. He notices Carl alone with Sonia, who is also his secretary. Agnes suddenly has a seizure, which upsets Simon, though it's happened before. Simon and Fabian discuss his art on their way home from his father's party. The next day, Fabian leaves early for work. Simon follows on his bike and shows her his new sketches. They're planning an exhibition in 3 weeks. But Fabian isn't satisfied with Simon's work. While they're talking, Simon's mom, Agnes, arrives. She takes Simon aside and asks him to transcribe Carl's book so she can go on vacation with him. She worries Carl might get closer to Sonia if she stays behind. Simon reluctantly agrees to help his mom, despite not wanting to work for his dad. Fabian worries this extra task will affect Simon's art, but Simon promises to manage. Simon visits his family home where Carl explains the book project. During their discussion, Carl admits his relationship with Sonia. He's in love but feels guilty that she'll have to assist Simon with the book. After his parents leave, Simon starts the transcription. That evening he attends an awards ceremony with Fabian. He's disappointed not to win, even though he expected it. Fabian reassures him, saying his work is excellent and recognition will come in time. The next day, Simon starts transcribing Carl's lectures. During lunch, Sonia complains to Simon that he prevented her from going on vacation with Carl. This angers Simon, and he lashes out, calling Carl a womanizer who will soon find someone new. Simon returns home feeling uninspired to draw, so he spends time chatting with his roommate and playing with the dog outside. The following morning, Simon observes Sonia confronting Carl, asserting that she's not just a plaything for him. Simon finds some satisfaction in their argument until he receives a call from his dad, warning him not to discuss personal matters with Sonia, as it could affect his own relationships. That same day, Carl's manager reveals to Simon that Sonia used to be Carl's patient, sparking Simon's curiosity. Later, a young woman visits Carl's clinic looking for him. Sonia intervenes and asks her to leave, visibly upset. After finishing his work, Simon goes to Sonia's office to transfer files to a flash drive, but he finds her there crying. Simon offers Fabian a box of tissues to wipe her tears, and when he comforts her with reassurance, she unexpectedly kisses him. Shocked, Simon leaves the office immediately. Later that afternoon, he meets up with Fabian but can't stop thinking about Sonia, even in Fabian's presence. The next day, Simon is in his office but can't focus due to thoughts of the kiss. He visits Sonia's office and asks her about the kiss, but Sonia dismisses it as spontaneous. Unsatisfied with her response, Simon snoops into Sonia's past while she's at lunch with a colleague. He opens her file but is interrupted by a knock at the door. He hastily returns the file to its place and finds a man delivering roses to Sonia, sent by Carl. Jealous, Simon throws the roses away. Later, at lunch with Fabian, Simon sees her trying to recruit the artist who recently won an award. Uncomfortable, Simon returns to the office where Sonia confronts him about the roses. Simon denies knowing about them, but observes Sonia speaking with his father. He eavesdrops on their conversation. Simon, enraged after hearing his father's evaluation of him as mentally unstable, confronts Sonia and bitterly tells her not to feel superior, because Carl judges everyone equally. Distraught, Simon heads straight to Fabian's office by train, only to find her talking with the new artist. Feeling displaced, he grabs a drink in the kitchen, where his father confronts him about causing trouble at work. Simon declares he no longer wants to work, but his mother insists he continue transcribing Carl's lectures to salvage their marriage. Under this mounting pressure, Simon argues with Fabian, who hired the new artist due to Simon's inability to focus on work. Upset and unsettled, Simon returns to the office where Sonia is searching for her file. He retrieves it for her, and notices her distress upon reading Carl's remarks. In a moment seeking solace, Sonia kisses Simon again, and they leave her office together, sneaking into Carl's home. There, in his parents' bedroom, Simon and Sonia end up sleeping together. After their intimate encounter, Simon tidies up the sheets and joins Sonia in her car as she drives him back to the city. She reassures him that he can always spend time with her, which lifts Simon's spirits significantly. Feeling a newfound sense of happiness, Simon's world crashes when his flatmate informs him that Fabian has been getting close with a new artist. Devastated, Simon attends a private party later that evening, where Fabian sings a love song dedicated to him, clearly showing her affection. Despite this, Simon decides to confess to Fabian that he slept with Sonia when they have a moment together. Heartbroken, Fabian is speechless and concludes there's no way to salvage their relationship, walking away. Alone and in turmoil, Simon receives an invitation from Sonia on his phone. Feeling lonely and vulnerable, he rushes to her apartment where they engage intimately again, deepening their relationship. Sonia even prepares a meal for him, nurturing their connection. The next morning, Simon wakes up at Sonia's place and learns she has gone to the market. Simon is stunned when Carl unexpectedly walks into Sonia's apartment while he's looking at a picture with him. He's surprised to learn the apartment belongs to his father. Carl acknowledges the awkwardness and confides in Simon that Sonia has been wanting a child, causing strain in their relationship since he can't fulfill that desire. Their conversation is interrupted when Sonia returns and kisses Simon in front of Carl, who tries to talk to her but is dismissed. As Simon gets dressed, he realizes Sonia used him to provoke Carl's jealousy. Confronting her, Sonia admits to manipulating him. This revelation deeply unsettles Simon, exacerbating a ringing in his ears and causing nausea. He manages to return to his apartment, but is feeling extremely unwell. In the midst of his distress, Simon receives a call from Agnes, who informs him that Carl plans to move in with Sonia. While on the phone, Agnes has a panic attack, prompting Simon to rush over. Fortunately, she recovers, but she blames Simon for the situation with Sonia and advises him to grow up and stay away from them to avoid causing more trouble. Simon is deeply affected by Agnes's harsh words, feeling unloved and rejected. He desperately visits Fabian's studio, pleading for forgiveness, but she advises him to stay away in his current state of mind. Rejected once more, Simon returns home in turmoil, destroying all his artwork in a fit of distress before collapsing from an attack. He wakes up in a hospital to find Carl by his side, relieved to see him. Carl expresses regret for burdening Simon with his private life. Simon blames Carl for ruining Agnes's life and causing her emotional distress, which deeply affects Carl. Despite his love for Agnes and desire to be with her, Carl confesses that Sonia makes him genuinely happy. Months pass, and Simon decides to enroll in medical school. He attends Carl's book release. There, Simon encounters Sonia at Carl's book release, visibly pregnant with his child. He also reconnects with his mom, who remains committed to her marriage despite everything, expressing her intention to care for Simon's child, as Sonia appears unfit for the task. Later on, Simon returns home for another gathering, where Sonia gives him their son. Overwhelmed with emotion as he gazes at his baby, Simon finds it in himself to forgive Sonia for her manipulation. The movie concludes with the family gathering for a group photo, capturing a moment of tentative reconciliation and reflection for Simon about his future.